Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. So, if your Samsung dryer is throwing error codes at you and you have no idea what they mean, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the most common Samsung dryer error codes and show you exactly how to fix them yourself. Most of these fixes are way simpler than you think, and you can definitely save yourself some serious money. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. So the biggest troublemaker by far is heating and temperature errors. You'll see codes like HC, HE, TC, TE, or TS pop up on that display. HC means your dryer's overheating, while HE usually means there's a heating problem. The temperature sensor codes like TE and TC mean your thermostat isn't reading correctly. Here's what's usually happening. Your vent system is clogged up with lint, and that's causing all sorts of temperature problems. I had this customer last month who was convinced her heating element was shot because she kept getting HC errors. Turns out her exhaust vent was so packed with lint it looked like a cotton candy machine exploded in there. Here's your fix. Grab that lint filter and run water through it. If the water pools instead of flowing right through, you've got waxy buildup that's restricting airflow. Clean that filter thoroughly. Then check your outside vent. Make sure air's blowing out freely when the dryer's running. For electric models, also verify you're getting proper voltage at the outlet. If cleaning doesn't solve your HC error, you might have a shorted heating element or stuck relay on the control board. Door errors are super common and usually pretty easy to fix. You'll see DC, DEDF, or D0 on the display when something's wrong with the door latch or sensors. The dryer either won't start at all or it'll run with the door open, which obviously isn't safe. Most of the time, you've just got something caught in the door, a sock, part of a shirt, whatever. Here's my go-to diagnostic test. First, make sure the dryer is plugged in but not running. Close the door normally and try to start a cycle. If nothing happens, close the door again and apply firm pressure directly on the latch area while pressing start. If the dryer suddenly starts working with that extra pressure, you've confirmed either a worn door switch or alignment issue. Sometimes it's as simple as the door being slightly warped or the hinges getting loose over time. Check for any obvious damage to the latch mechanism and make sure nothing's bent or misaligned. Voltage errors can be tricky because they're usually related to your home's electrical supply. You'll see codes like 9C1, 9E, or 2E when the dryer isn't getting the right power. Now, here's something interesting. If you've got a stacked washer and dryer with one of those multi-control kits, 9C1 can pop up if you try to start the dryer within 5 seconds of turning on the washer. Don't ask me why Samsung designed it that way, but there's actually a software update through their SmartThings app that fixes this glitch. For regular voltage issues, make sure your electric dryer is on its own dedicated circuit. Never use an extension cord with these things. Check that your power cord is installed correctly and you're getting the right voltage. If the error keeps coming back after checking the basics, you're probably looking at either electrical work or a main control board problem. Communication errors mean the internal components aren't talking to each other properly. You'll see AC, ET, AE, EEE, or E3 codes when there's a problem with the main control board or user interface. These are the errors that make you think your dryer is having a nervous breakdown. The good news is you can try a simple reset first. Shut off the dryer completely for about 60 seconds, then turn it back on. Sometimes that's all it takes to clear a temporary glitch. But if the error code comes right back, you're dealing with a more serious electronic problem. This usually means the main PCB or user interface has failed, and that's where you might want to call someone like me because we're getting into the expensive repair territory. Button errors happen when the control panel thinks one of the buttons is stuck down. You'll see B2, BC2, 6E, 6E2, or 6C2 when this happens. It's like the dryer thinks you're holding down a button even when you're not touching anything. Here's the fix. Power off the dryer completely, then go through and press every single button on the control panel one by one. Sometimes a button gets stuck from spilled detergent or just general wear and tear. Press each one firmly and make sure it clicks and releases properly. If you find a button that feels mushy or doesn't spring back, that's your culprit. Unfortunately, if the buttons look fine but you're still getting the error, the user interface panel itself is probably failing. First, let's access your Samsung dryer's built-in diagnostic feature. Press and hold both the dryness and wrinkle prevent buttons at the same time for 6 seconds. You'll see the error code appear on your display. Write it down so you don't forget it. Now I'm going to take you through the most common error codes I see, starting with the ones that'll save you the most money to fix yourself. The thermal fuse is the most common failure point on Samsung dryers. When this safety device detects overheating, it cuts all power to protect your dryer, leaving it completely dead. Replacement fuses only cost $5 to $60 and take about 15 minutes to install. Test your old fuse with a multimeter first. If there's no continuity, it's blown and needs replacing. You'll find it in the blower housing, and replacement takes about 50 minutes with basic tools. Here's the thing though, the fuse is usually just a symptom, not the actual problem. 9 times out of 10, it blew because of the restricted airflow from a clogged vent or lint filter. So clean everything thoroughly before you replace that fuse, or you'll just blow the new one too. For electric dryers, the heating element generates all your heat. When it fails, you either get no heat at all or overheating errors if it's shorted out. A replacement heating element assembly runs anywhere from about 50 to over 300 bucks. Here's how to test yours. Use a multimeter to check continuity across the terminals. You should see around 4 to 9 ohms of resistance. Also check between the terminals and the metal housing. If you get continuity there, the element is grounded and needs to be replaced. This is a moderate repair difficulty, but it's still way cheaper than a service call. The thermistor is your temperature sensor, and when it goes bad, you'll get all sorts of temperature-related error codes. This part runs about 13 to 40 bucks, so it's pretty affordable. Testing requires a multimeter set to measure resistance. With your dryer at room temperature, around 77 degrees Fahrenheit, the thermistor should read approximately 10,000 ohms or 10K ohms. If you're getting drastically different readings like 100 ohms or infinite resistance, the thermistor has failed and needs replacement. I remember this guy who had his dryer shutting down with HC errors constantly. Turned out his thermistor was reading completely wrong, making the control board think the dryer was overheating when it wasn't. Door switches wear out from constant use, and they're usually pretty cheap to replace, about 10 to 50 bucks depending on your model. You can find them at most appliance parts stores or online. This is an easy DIY repair that takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes. The switch is typically behind the front panel near the door opening. Before you replace it, though, make sure the problem isn't just door alignment. Sometimes a slightly bent door or loose hinge can make a perfectly good switch seem like it's failing. Now you can see right there on your screen the most common Samsung dryer models that run into these issues. Take a look. You might even spot your own model up there. Don't worry about memorizing all those model numbers, but it's good to know that these problems affect a pretty wide range of Samsung dryers, especially some of their more popular models from the last few years. Now you're equipped to handle the most common Samsung dryer error codes. Here's your action plan. First, prevent future problems by cleaning your lint filter after every single load and checking your outside exhaust vent monthly. This alone prevents 80% of error codes. When codes do appear, use that diagnostic button sequence we showed you, then follow the specific troubleshooting steps for your error code. When errors do appear, start with the diagnostic button sequence we showed you, then work through the troubleshooting steps for your specific code. If you're dealing with the more complex electronic errors like AC or 9C1, don't be a hero. Those usually mean control board problems that can get expensive fast. But for the heating door and button issues, you can definitely handle these yourself and save some serious money. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your Samsung dryer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.